Emboldened by the sins of the Green Goblin, Peter Parker is on a rampage across New York City. Who could ever hope to stop the spider who gobs? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 34 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we actually get a chance to check on in with Janice and Randy. This is the first time we're seeing them since the assassination attempt on Tombstone at their wedding. And in fact, as we soon learn, this is actually the first time they've seen each other since the wedding as well. Janice obviously feels a little vulnerable and a little abandoned by the man she loves right now, and Randy is dealing with all of this in probably the strangest way possible by essentially returning to his roots as an activist, trying to petition the mayor to do something about the gang problem in New York City, which, is kind of a bad for his new wife and in-laws, because if you didn't notice, they're professional gangsters. Things only go from bad to worse at that point, as Tombstone's vitals end up crashing. As the doctor says, it seems that some mysterious individual snuck on in and unplugged his ventilator. Now, who exactly would do something like that? Well, the vengeful Spider-Man, of course. We saw him bury Kraven alive at the end of the previous issue, and well, it looks like that was just an appetizer. It seems that Spidey Gobby has himself a whole hit list of people who have wronged him over the last couple years, and he's looking to make his rounds and make their lives hell. And because Norman Osborn is something of an expert on how the Green Goblin thinks, he rushes to the home of MJ and Paul to warn them. Well, warn Paul specifically. Everyone hates Paul, but Peter would especially hate Paul more than ever now with the Goblin whispering in his ear. Norman tells them both to get the hell out of the city as fast as they can, and okay, I get that Peter would trust Norman because he's seen how far he's come trying to redeem himself, but why does MJ instantly listen to him? It's not like she knows. Oh, whatever, I guess it is what it is. We also check back on in with Kraven this issue, who is still dealing with the whole being buried alive issue. Again, this little B story aside seems to exist for the sole purpose of Zeb Wells getting the chance to recreate some of the best scenes from Kraven's Last Hunt, only now the roles are reversed. I will admit there are some actual gems in Kraven's internal monologue. He again talks about original Kraven's mother who was taken by madness. A madness that his father may very well have passed on to him, but oh wait, this Kraven has no mother because he was a clone. Again, it's all very dangerously close to almost being compelling, isn't it? Now back over with Norman, he doesn't exactly have many options left or any more friends to call. Because of that, he essentially just turns off the lights and waits for Spider-Man to come to him, and come to him he does. Once again, there's something so devilishly interesting about evil bad guy Peter and how Wells chooses to write him, "Hey, Norman, old buddy, are you messing with my plans? Feels like you're messing with my plans. You better not have tipped Paul off." Oh, who am I kidding? I was coming for you anyway. In fact, the only reason I've been standing next to you and being nice to you this whole time is because I was just waiting for you to screw up so I could punish you for your sins all over again. In fact, now that I've walked a mile in your green and purple shoes, I'm beginning to realize that it feels great to hurt people who have wronged you. In fact, I think I'm going to take a page out of your book, drag Paul all the way to the top of a tall bridge and throw him off to see if Mary Jane's new powers are good enough to save him. Wouldn't that be a gas? It's here too that once again Norman proves that he's actually probably the best character in this Zeb Wells era by admitting that yes, he has done Peter wrong, done Gwen wrong, done lots of people wrong, and he's in a hell of his own making because of it, but that none of that is going to stop him from trying to save Peter from a monster of his own creation. Again, it's a lot of really juicy material for Norman to be given. Spidey ends up leaving Norman behind though, because again, his goal is to go after Mary Jane and Paul before they can escape the city, and to give proper chase to them, he's decided to stretch his own creative muscles by building his own answer to the Goblin glider. Basically, it's a set of wings with another one of those big renewable energy engines inside of it. Okay, cool. Finally, he's upgrading his costume and making it a little bit more goblin-y. It's about time. If you're gonna make evil, then you might as well go whole hog with it and get really creative with the design. And in fact, judging by the cover of the next issue, they're going to push this even further. Mary Jane and Paul actually end up finding a very unlikely defender in the form of Queen Goblin. It seems that even after the sin transfer had taken place, Kafka is still a monster and she doesn't know why. Maybe the magic in the ritual was flawed. Maybe Kafka has to kill Spider-Man so the sins can finally disperse. It's hard to tell. And hey, speaking of strange bedfellows, and Kraven is ultimately saved from his shallow grave by Norman digging him up and returning his magic spear to him. The idea, no doubt, being if Kraven started all of this, surely he can undo it, right? And it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 34. And ultimately, this issue, much like this his whole arc is something that I feel almost bad about for enjoying as much as I am. Because make no mistake, this story is schlock. It is inferior, it's cheap, it's nostalgia baity, it's emotionally manipulative, and yet I kind of am digging it. Much in the same way I would enjoy a schlocky B movie at the drive-in. Norman's journey of redemption and self-realization continues to be really interesting and kind of the whole heart of the Spider-Man book at the moment, because Lord knows Peter isn't doing much growing or changing. Also, by having Peter absorb the Green Goblin's sins and basically get to strike out as a villain for a little bit here, I can't help but feel like Wells is commenting on reviewers like myself who have given his run such harsh criticisms. Lord knows I've said that Peter under him doesn't feel heroic, he feels selfish and unheroic. It's like Wells heard all of those things and went, okay, fine, you think my Spider-Man is selfish and not a good guy? Well, what if I straight up make him a bad guy for a little bit? Would you like that? And the answer is, yeah, I kind of am. There's something about his maniacal, petty revenge quest that I actually find a little bit more interesting than anything else Peter has been doing up until this point in the series. Overall, though, I would give this one a 6.5 out of 10. It's not particularly good, but it is certainly compelling in a weird, twisted way, which I will happily take a book that's like that over a book that's boring any day of the week. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.